So, on the news and on social media in general, if you pay attention to politics or world happenings at all, you might see wall-to-wall coverage about how the Trump administration is putting immigrant children in cages and how America is literally Nazi Germany. In a less hyperbolic description, it's all about how border control at the southwestern part of the United States treats children who had come over with their parents, or maybe those who aren't their parents, into America. They either come seeking asylum or just attempting to enter the country illegally for their own personal reasons. These pictures are being shared around and treated like gospel against Trump and those who support the current administration. In the videos I've seen describing these facilities, they all use manner of different hyperbolic terms and descriptions in order to make the viewer feel guilty or perhaps angry that this is how we treat our immigrants and the children who come over, only seeking a better life. Though you're only getting half the story. These facilities are only temporary and they don't stay in there for long. These images are from centers where they hold the children after they've been processed. The leftist-owned media would like you to believe that this place doesn't exist, that only cages and cramped spaces with aluminum sheets are what immigrants have to look forward to when they enter the country. They'll play videos and audio clips of children crying to stir you up emotionally. The children are crying, and it's all your fault, you filthy fascist. Open up the border immediately, or else you're absolutely Hitler. But, don't take my word for it. Let's go ahead and shop around to find what descriptions we can about these holding facilities from proper news networks. Here's one from the Washington Post. When I was at the center at McAllen Border Station, this is the processing center, earlier, and I was admitted there, and I did see the people, hundreds of children locked up in cages there at the facility. They have big cages made out of fencing and then wire and nets stretched across the top of them so people can't climb out of them. Oh, so it's almost as if they're trying to keep illegal immigrants from running away. I wonder why they do something like that. Every time I probed yesterday on the circumstances, the response was basically a generic, this is what's required for security, this is what's required for control. And in a lot of these areas I saw yesterday morning at the processing center, it's just a concrete floor, and people are given these space blankets to sleep on. Now, a space blanket is a very thin piece of the equivalent of foil, and so obviously a very uncomfortable situation to be in. Okay, so these cages and the netting atop of them are required for security purposes. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty much true. If you want to detain some people, you generally put them in places where they can't run away. It's not pretty, certainly, but I don't think hanging positive posters and letting theme park mascots walk around will really help your opinion on this. If anything, it would just confuse and terrify everybody. Senator Jeff Merkley, a critic of President Trump's immigration agenda, went down to the border to see firsthand how immigrant families are being treated by federal agencies. The verdict? Not good. On CNN the next morning, Merkley described a facility in McAllen, Texas, where hundreds of children were locked up in cages. His comments reminded us of some photos that recently went viral, showing children in chain-link fence enclosures at an immigration processing center in Nogales, Arizona. In the days before Merkley's trip, some Democrats, including former Los Angeles Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa and John Favreau, a former speechwriter for President Barack Obama, tweeted pictures of the Nogales facility and criticized the Trump administration for holding immigrant kids in draconian settings. It turned out that the Nogales photos were taken during the Obama administration in 2014, as several fact-checkers were quick to note. Favreau and Villaraigosa deleted their tweets, but then Merkley said he saw these cages with his own two eyes in McAllen. So they were trying to make Trump look bad by using pictures from the same facilities during the Obama administration? Now, why would they go and do a thing like that? Then they tried to hide the fact that they were lying? Pretty typical. Hide the evidence, don't let the public see that we're being dishonest to attack the president, things like that. I don't see how Democrats could possibly win anything in 2020, no matter what candidate they have. My body is ready for another Trump term, and it'll feel so good to see them squirm for another 4 years. Though, I have to be clear here, the reason why these people are coming and trying to get asylum is because of all the gang violence that occurs in El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, and other places. We need to screen these people to make sure they aren't coming to do harm or commit gang-related activities in America, like MS-13. Democrats have defended this bloodthirsty gang. What the fuck is wrong with them? Their ideology is getting in the way of seeing reason. I'm sure this topic has been discussed everywhere at this point. But I was just having a conversation with some family members who didn't really understand what was going on, and I wanted to explain it to them at least how I understand it. The point of this video is that I don't think that these people who are up in arms about this business really care about the children. I think they care more about attacking Trump. As I said earlier, you're only getting half the story. In their eyes, Obama should be guilty as Trump is, but they won't ever blame Obama for anything. They're ideologues, partisans. If Trump so much as breathes incorrectly, they'll be all over his back about how Nazis used to breathe too. America is literally Nazi fascists. Take it back. I have a feeling that these people are intentionally ignoring the other side of the story and only want to use these images and emotional sabotage to throw punches at Trump and his administration. They trust that the populace is too ignorant of what is actually going on because the common person doesn't actually want to look at these matters and will simply trust whatever is on their Twitter or Facebook. Well, take this information and spread it. Tell others that there's another side of the story. There always is. Never trust the media. They're always pushing an agenda. If I got any of this incorrect, or if you'd like to add on to the information in the video, then please send me a comment explaining what's going on, and I'll gladly take a look at it and I'll respond to it, and I might put it into another video later on.